to PoshFest 2020. My name's Amanda, the Amanda Weiss on Poshmark.
And my name is Adiel. You can find me at Rose Gold Lining.
Hi, Adiel. How are you?
So good, girl. I wish I was there with you in person.
I know. So we will be your Team Posh MCs for the weekend. And this is PoshFest number 8. And while we are normally together IRL, we really wanted to make it happen. So here we are virtually. And I'm not going to lie, I might be wearing bike shorts on the bottom here. Comfort is key.
Yes. The perfect PoshFest outfit, if you ask me. So yeah, we're here virtually and so very excited to kick off this weekend. It's definitely a bummer that we're not all together. I just miss everybody, the amazing Poshmark community. But we have an amazing lineup for everyone.
We sure do. We heard all of the amazing takeaways that you want from this experience. So we have sessions featuring you, our community, in branding, sustainability, business planning, and so much more.
That's right. And we have some incredible guest speakers along with our annual State of the Posh Union, which will be kicking off here very shortly.
But first, before we kick it off, obviously we want to see your faces and connect with you. While we can't right now, we would love to see you use the official PoshFest 2020 hashtag on Instagram. We'll be sharing and broadcasting the amazing things that you're posting. So take a selfie, show us your posh style. Let us see your faces. We miss them.
Yes, so very much. And we know we can't network like we would normally at an IRL PoshFest. So I definitely want to encourage you all to take this PoshFest weekend, make it an opportunity to reach out and say hello to, maybe like 5 new Poshers, make some new PFFs in the spirit of PoshFest.
Absolutely. Try to connect. That's all we can do right now. Mm-hmm. So Adiel, what do you say? Should we kick it off with our first session?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So we would like to welcome to the virtual PoshFest stage for the annual, highly anticipated State of the Posh Union, our founder and CEO, Manish Chandra.
I've seen the Poshmark community support one another in so many ways, from sharing closets,
online Zoom Poshing coffees to discuss and talk about different ideas of how to be successful during this time.
The freedom that it gives me to connect with people across the country.
We all use our knowledge to help each other succeed.
With shelter in place, I've definitely seen a lot of Poshers rise to the challenge.
Poshmark continues to provide a diverse marketplace.
Ross from Friends put it best when he said, you had to pivot. We had to pivot how, where, and what we were sourcing.
During this time, I have seen so many small businesses flourish because of the support of one another on Poshmark.
We, the sellers, go into every day full of positivity and hope. Even through the most difficult and uncertain of times, we continue to grow our closets and spread Posh love.
Things like, I love your closet, great photos, happy poshing.
We help each other in hard times, we pick each other up, we congratulate each other.
And that's the type of love that's spread around Poshmark.
I love the Poshmark community.
There's a lot of love in this community.
I think it is such a beautiful community, such a beautiful thing that everyone is doing.
I feel I belong to something bigger than just the business that I'm trying to build.
Poshmark became family.
We're an amazingly strong community.
The support within the community itself, you really do not see that within any type of other organization.
And not even a pandemic can slow down the people of Poshmark.
A couple months ago, I lost my job, lost my apartment, had to evacuate New York City. It wasn't fun. And I was in a rut. Poshmark has really been the light at the end of the tunnel for me. It's a place for me to work. It's a place for me to shop. It's a place for me to dream. And I really do thank every single person that's a part of the Poshmark community for greeting me with open arms.
Not only am I a new mom, but I also got furloughed from my job. Thanks to Poshmark, it's always been a part-time thing for me, but it was pretty easy to transition it to a full-time gig.
Poshmark has been there for a lot of families, including myself. Here at Poshmark, man, we're like a stylish family of entrepreneurs, dream chasers. We're not ever going to stop.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Remember your why.
And never giving up.
We are going to make it through.
I hope that everybody is staying safe right now, and I believe that we will get through this together.
Together, we are incredible.
We are winners.
We are defined.
We are stylish.
Powerful. Supportive. Positive, unique, eco-friendly.
Sustainable.
Fierce.
Fashion.
creative,
far-reaching,
responsible, amazing,
fearless,
empowering,
united,
committed,
love,
fabulous. We are happy.
Together we're stronger.
We are unstoppable.
Together we are resilient.
Together we are one.
We are united as one community. We are Poshmark.
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 Good morning. Welcome to the 8th annual PoshFest. That video just brought back all the feels of what it means to be a Posher, what it means to be part of the Poshmark community. I hope you're all enjoying this special edition of PoshFest from the comfort of some place where you are sitting with your friends and family around. Needless to say, this year has been a crazy year. It's been a unique year. It's challenged us, it's tested us, and continues to challenge and test us. We'd all been hoping to meet together in physical, in real life, as we've done for the last 7 years, but it was not meant to be. However, I'm really proud of my team that has pulled together an amazing event online and done it in record time. And for all of you who are signed up and participating in our virtual way, but still bringing the joy and power of the Poshmark community together. So much has changed in the world since we last met in 2019. The tragedies of 2020 are so deep and so unlike anything we've seen in our lifetime that my heart goes out to everyone affected by the hardships this year. From a global pandemic to racial violence to natural disasters, the universe continues to put us to the test. I also want to especially extend a huge thank you to the heroic members of our Poshmark community fighting from the front lines of this epidemic. To the healthcare workers, to the first responders, to the restaurant workers, to the delivery workers, to postal workers, to all of you, to teachers, and so many more. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thanks for everything you do. As we look into this year, there is so much to be grateful for, in as much as there's so much to be challenged by. We've talked a lot about the fact that there'll be a 2020 vision for this year. There's so many lessons, so many ways in which we are growing, and so many new things we are actually embracing. It really has awakened in us something that we never knew was possible. And with tough times, each of you has shown your determination to be even tougher and look forward and create even a brighter future, overcoming obstacles, of disease, of hardships, of losing jobs, and turning and helping each other out in a very, very human and very personal way that only a Poshmark community can do. And I certainly look forward to the day when the world sort of comes together and starts as a fresh thing where we can all meet, hug each other, talk to each other, and be able to be together in real life. PoshFest has always been the highlight of my year. And it brings the opportunity to connect everyone, to bring the lifeblood of Poshmark and our sort of people together. It inspires me. I learn a lot, and we are hoping to do that in a virtual way this year as well. What is really even more critical this year than ever is the power of our community. It's how each of you has stepped up and are supporting each other, whether it is to support people who've lost jobs, or recently, one of our Poshers actually was in a bad accident, and many of you rallied up and showed your support to help her through a treatment where she didn't even have insurance. I'm talking about Kim, and I'm just amazed to see the rallying support that our community brings together, whether it is for a positive thing where we are cheering each other on, or it is something where somebody's in a source of hardship, or really just giving someone a shout out through a host pick or sharing their closet. That's the power of Poshmark community. That's sort of what sets us apart from just a shopping site or a selling site or a reselling site out there. Those of you who's attended PoshFest in the past sort of know that I love to give you a challenge, a way for you to connect with each other. Well, this year, the challenge for each of you is to virtually connect with at least 5 other Poshers, either people you've already known or new people that you want to connect. So many of you are attending PoshFest for the first time, and ask what you have done and what they have done to innovate in their business in these very, very crazy COVID times, and how are you surviving and thriving this year. and note them down and share it. Share it in your social media, share it on Poshmark, share it with each other, share it on a Posh story. And it just becomes something where we can all learn from each other and grow together. Let's use this weekend to focus on the good, forging new relationships and learning new skills. We have an exciting lineup. There's just so much content packed up, so much more that is coming, and so much that you can do to learn from each other at PoshFest 2020, where we're moving from real life to URL to connecting virtually, but still bringing a very, very strong Poshmark community together. Well, as we've taken this journey over the last 8 or 9 years together, it's sometimes easy to forget the very foundation on which Poshmark as a platform is built on our community. For us, we've created a social marketplace where our goal has been to put all of you at the heart of commerce. And the very first value that drives Poshmark is our strong focus on people, in helping each of you create your brands, scale, helping you help each other. And to us, when we put people first, we create a thriving community, which is not just exciting to be part of from a selling perspective, but it's just really a great place to be part of, where you meet new friendships, you make sort of new lifelong friends. Our second value is really where we focus first. Our belief is when you lead with love, money comes. But if you lead with money, nothing comes. So you have to really focus on this engagement, on spreading the Posh love. Many of you are sharing, helping, connecting, and that ultimately drives your revenue and your business. And it's pretty unique in how the business builds out. For example, we're probably one of the very few communities out there when a new seller joins or a new user joins, they get welcomed by members of our community. People take time to go and connect with them. When you actually interact with a listing, a seller is there trying to answer your questions. Sellers and shoppers are involved in each other's lives, and that is all about this core love. Our third value is embracing your weirdness. What does that mean? I think when we sort of accept that we are all different, we are all strange, we are all unique, we have something specific to bring to the table, we actually accept all people around us. It allows us to accept diversity. It allows us to accept people as they are. But it also gives us the strength to build our business based on who we are. We're not in competition with anybody. Each of you has been given a superpower, a treasure for you to find, and you can seek that treasure and grow and achieve that by embracing your weirdness. And the last thing is, we all want to grow. We all want to succeed. But the only way to grow is to grow together. And that is really a core principle of Poshmark and how we build our company, how we build our platform, is really only by supporting each other is how you achieve success. And that's how we've all continued to rise together. So in everyone else's success is your success, and your success is everyone else's success. And that's power of Poshmark. So focus on people, lead with love, embrace your weirdness, and let's all grow together and succeed. As we look at 2019 to 2020, one of the things that's amazing about this year is how Poshmark is scaling and growing. We launched Canada last year, and we have over 1 million people who are already part of the Canadian community. 1 in 5 people in America are on Poshmark, and our community is 60 million people strong and growing every day. That is really the strength of social, that's the strength of community, and that's the strength of Poshmark. One of the things that our community and our platform is unique is that we are able to adapt to new circumstances. We pioneered a program called Posh and Coffee that brought local Poshers together. As we were about and set to launch it in a big way across the country, COVID-19 struck, and we couldn't really meet in real life. So what did our team and all of you did is we converted those Posh and Coffees to virtual Posh and Coffees. And it's just joyful to see how many virtual Posh and Coffees have happened, how the neighborhood suddenly become national and even international. There's over 800 virtual Posh and Coffees that have been hosted throughout the year, and many more to come, where people are learning, sharing their business, getting business tips, getting tips on how to grow their business, how to grow their Poshing game, how to grow their selling and reselling game, how to source in these unique times. And to me, that's again a testament to how we are all growing together and innovating in these very trying times. One of the things that is very important is that even as we are succeeding and we are growing, we have to remember there's a lot of people suffering. To that end, this year, we donated $250,000 to support frontline workers and fight racial injustice. And we will continue to do more and enable you to do more as you guys are scaling and growing, and we are scaling and growing together. The whole issues of helping people who are out there, helping us as a community, frontline workers fighting the pandemic, and organizations advancing racial justice, civil rights, and economic empowerment, and really bringing sustainability to the world is really important. It's important not just for us who may or may not be on either side of the equation, but it's also important for the society as large. And we cannot forget our responsibility to the broader society as we build our businesses and our companies. So let me share a little bit of what we've delivered to you in the last 12 months and what are the tools that we built to help you survive and thrive as you grow your business in these trying times. Let's talk a little bit about specific features. So one of the features I really enjoy thinking about is as you post new listings on the platform, we have built a machine learning artificial intelligence engine that scans these listings, matches them with specific poshers, and bring these listings in a very just pick manner. So for a shopper, it's an amazing way to get a curated collection of listings which are very personalized to them. For the seller, it's a way to get additional marketing and pickup and find new audiences that are going beyond sort of the audiences that they have and getting new sources of liquidity for their inventory. So it's a win-win thing. It's a great thing for the buyer and a great thing for the seller. And it's something that really underneath it is built on pretty advanced and sophisticated technology to do matching of your preferences and interest with new listings that are posting across brands, across styles, and across sort of inventory items. The second feature that is still iterating, and you'll see a lot more innovation happening, and a lot of innovation has already happened, is Posh Stories, which is our short-form video product that gives you a way to express and tell the story behind your listing, behind your closet, behind your store better. It allows you to share tips. It allows you to promote what you're doing in your closet. And I'm just amazed to see how creatively people are using, from creating fashion shows to leaving love notes for their favorite sellers to actually sharing new styles and looks that they're doing. It's another way to create almost a collage of looks that people are trying to do with Posh Stories. And there's a lot more innovation that I'm going to talk about where Posh Stories are going. And we believe video is going to be essential to the selling format as people connect more and more over the internet or through the app, and less so even being able to see the clothes in physical life. This just gives a unique way for you to tell the story about what you're selling, what you're sharing, and what you're showcasing. Reposh. Reposh is really a way to continue to take the cycle of sustainability and give people a way to easily recirculate things that they bought in Poshmark. It allows a buyer who may never have sold something before with a single click to create a new listing. It allows someone who's maybe got a misfit or is bored with an item to quickly sort of resell it on the platform. And that has been a very popular feature, particularly for people who've never listed on Poshmark. It allows them to very quickly and easily do that. And it's great for you as a seller because it takes your brand and propagates it further. So it's something that we really love, and it's something that our community has really loved and shown their demonstration for how much they're willing to power the sustainability movement by circulating that inventory over and over on Poshmark. One of the things early on, and it still continues to be a challenge, is how do you get access to new inventory? For many of you who were used to going thrifting or going out to the wholesale market, it's been a hard problem to get new inventory. So one of the programs that we did was to really partner up with local Goodwills and empower them to drop inventory through Poshmark. And that program is very successful, and it's an iterative program, so people are learning. And that thing has been a way to deliver new inventory to sellers who don't have access to physical inventory. And again, we'll continue to innovate here to bring new sources of effectively inventory that becomes your revenue over time, and innovate in this whole area, particularly as we are not able to go do that massive level of physical shopping in many parts of the country. Now let's talk a little bit about core tools that we are providing to you as our seller community. The first tool is the ability to take information that you've created and reuse it through a copy listing feature. Now, initially when we launched it, we didn't realize how much of sort of demand and use that feature will have. And what we found a lot was that people were using it more like a sharing feature as opposed to what it was designed to do, which was to refresh your old listings or copy listings that you want to sort of templatize and use forward. So we had to put some throttles in it, which we are refining. But overall, the feature has allowed you to be much more productive as you reuse listings or take old listings and remarket them into the community. Another feature allows you to take a listing that you find similar and be able to copy some of the key pieces and start your own listing from it. And that also jumpstarts both sellers who are looking to jumpstart something that they're listing, but also new sellers in the marketplace, and allows them to participate in the growing social marketplace that Poshmark is. Another thing that we heard from you was you did not like the limits on photos and drafts. So one of the things we've done is dramatically increase the number of photos you can post in a listing, so you don't have to be constrained and create 2 listings for a single item. And then also increase drafts, which allows you to perfect your draft before you publish it out, or time your drafts. And combined with a new feature I'll talk about, it gives you extreme flexibility in how you publish and market your listings to the community. Packing slips. For people who are selling in higher quantities, this allows you to have a way to make sure that you're shipping the right items, to make sure that you're matching the right items to the right buyers, and also just make it faster and easier for you to ship. It's been a much demanded feature, and it's finally going to be available where you can really use the packing slip in creative ways to make your distribution and shipping much easier and smoother. One of the features that I'm really excited about that we've just launched is Drop Soon. It allows you to pre-market a listing. It allows you to release listings in a given point in time. What you do is in the listing flow, you can choose the state to be drop soon and set a time. And at that time, the listing will go live. Prior to that, people can like it. There's also a pre-marketing engine that is built. You can also share it in your feed. And at the time that this item is available, people who've liked it get a push notification, and they are notified that this item is available for sale. And we've seen some success that sellers are starting to use. It's particularly useful for boutique sellers where you have a lot of depth of inventory and you want to pre-market it so many people can connect to. But it's also useful for resellers when you want to take a group of items, either they're rare or you want to do some sort of pre-marketing on them. So it's a feature which I feel is going to innovate. It's modeled a little bit out of sneaker drops and sort of how auction drops happened, but it's something that we've customized very uniquely to the Poshmark social community. We also want to give you more ways and more things that you can sell on Poshmark. So we continue to add new categories on the platform, new things that people want to sell, stuff that works with our Posh Post architecture. So we've added toys and games, we've added grooming, we've added skincare, hair, bath, and body. And we certainly plan to continue to build on our category architecture and make sure that you can sell more and more things and grow your revenues in many more ways on Poshmark. If we step back and we really think about what Poshmark is doing, we've created a social marketplace which has brought in the human interaction, the way that interactions happen in real life happening online. When you're running a physical boutique and now you're forced to run it online, or you want to broaden it and connect with a nationwide audience, Poshmark is really giving you a very specific tool and a specific platform to take that forward. When we look forward and we look at sort of the next 5 years, last 5 years we've been proving, and I've been talking about the fact that each of you is really at the forefront of what commerce and shopping is doing. Well, today, the future is brought into the present. And what we are seeing today is that online shopping is really become the new mall. When you go to the mall, every mall store has an online presence. You are the new mall. You are really the new boutique neighborhood. You are pioneering, innovating your own brands and providing services to the community that they can't really get. Advice, videos, styling, access to inventory, access to products, and so many things and so many ways in which you're serving the society, but also building your own brands and communities. We're seeing people's habits changing. We're also seeing retail and resale blend together in ways that we've never seen before. In fact, there was a point in time 9 years back when we started, when somebody would look at me as, Manish, why are you starting a company to help people resell stuff in their closet? Today, it's almost like bigger brands, you see Pottery Barn, you see other brands kind of converting and adding a resale arm to their practice where they're really refurbishing items and selling it to their platform. IKEA recently announced that they're opening up a reselling brand. So it's almost like traditional retail and brands are coming to you and asking you to help them create this whole reselling paradigm that's part of it. Personal brand and micro brands are really becoming big. So each of you has an opportunity to not only scale your business on resale, but create your own original, unique brand, whether it's in fashion or it's home or it's in toys or accessories. We're seeing a lot more innovation and a lot more servicing of the needs that this marketplace and this sort of area is bringing us together. And Poshmark allows you to connect to an audience across the country. So you're sort of not just limited in your neighborhood, and hopefully soon allows you to connect across the world as well. Well, that's not all. Let me take a second and share with you some of the things that we are working on that will be delivered to you over the course of next few months to sort of into early next year. First thing we are doing is giving you more ways to connect with each other. So for Posh Stories, we're going to make them permanent. It's an often requested feature. You'll be able to find all your Posh Stories beautifully displayed in your closet, so you can start to curate and create more permanent content through Posh Stories. We'll also allow you to share the stories into your listings, so you can also use that to tell a better story about your listing, not just your closet. You can post beauty tips, you can post fashion tips, you can curate and create collections, you can do styling things. And so really the palette of Posh Stories becomes almost infinite with these innovations that are coming there. Another feature that people have talked about is following is nice, but they would like to also tag and store their favorite closets, get information when that closet is posting new inventory. Well, that's coming to a Poshmark near you. And with these two features, you can get even more connected and remain more connected with each other in the Poshmark community. We want to help you sell faster. We want to help you sell better. We want to help you sell quicker. So one of the things we are doing is taking some of the steps that you have to do outside Poshmark app and bringing it in. You'll see new filters, basic photo editing, all of that present in the app. The new filters are actually launching today at 9 a.m. Pacific. So either update your app or take a look at them, and you'll be able to start to use them and start to create even more beautiful listings. We want to add more sizes. We want to add more size options, things like waist and inseam that have been requested, adding support for dual sizing so you can express European sizing, US sizing as you need on the platform. More colors, that has been an often requested feature. And then we'll also give you more ways to connect with your customers and unleash customers where you can re-engage with the customers who shop from you, and many other ways to sort of market to the people who love your closet and love your brand on the platform. We want to give you more ways to grow. We want to empower you with information. We want to give you more things to sell. So we've got basic closet metrics that are available to you as a seller. We're going to take them a whole level further, adding inventory, brands, and category, your sales information to help you better understand your business, what's happening in your closet, and allow you to grow and scale the business. We're going to give you new categories to sell that should allow you to sell more things and upload even more inventory into your closet. We want to add cross-border shipping so you can ship outside US and broaden your audience to where we are all going, because we are expanding internationally. With the success of Canada, we're committed to entering even more countries and adding sort of the landscape of where Poshmark is present. And with cross-border shipping, those all can become your customers and you can become their customers. So it's a beautiful thing as we connect the world through the Poshmark marketplace and through Posh Love. Not only are we connecting, selling, and growing, but really one of the things that we've all become more aware of and really is very much part of what we want to do, given how trying the times are, is allow each of us to give more and contribute more and make it easy for you to give. This has been something that has been in the works, and I'm happy to announce that we'll also be releasing a way for you to mark a portion of your earnings and be able to donate it to a charity of your choice. And that whole feature will allow it to be something where you can not only grow, build a great business, but also seamlessly support the causes and communities and people you care about outside your core platform and core customer base. So taking a step back, what we've really talked about is not only a lot of innovation that's happening, not only a lot of connections that you guys are producing, but really more ways for you to connect, support, and become what has always been a very amazing community, but really has become an iconic, world-defining community. So thank you very much. I am humbled and grateful for all of you to have joined us through this virtual things, and I wish you nothing but the best in the rest of 2020 and into 2021. Thank you.
Now that's a way to really kick off PoshFest 2020. Thank you everyone for sharing your personal stories. Keep shining and keep being resilient. And of course, thank you to Manish for inspiring hope and sharing all that we've accomplished this year and all that we have to look forward to. I love what you said about supporting each other in the good times and the bad times. It is oh so important.
So important. And that was the perfect segue for our very first panel, where we're going to hear firsthand how the world we're in is affecting you as Poshers and how you're persevering in these, dare I say it, unprecedented times.
And I know the moderator always looks for that rose gold lining in life. So Adiel, take it away.
You got it.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Adiel, and you may know me in the app as Rose Gold Lining. I head up the community development team at Poshmark, and I'm so very excited to be chatting with these 4 inspiring community members today. The only thing that could make this better is if we were all together in person, of course. But, 2020 had a different plan for us this year. And in fact, that's the very topic we're here to discuss today, how we're all coping with our adjusted expectations and pivoting into a new direction for success. So before we get into it, I want to say a quick hello to the Poshers who are sharing their personal experiences and advice today. So everyone say hello to Christine, Laurel, Chelsea, and Blake. Yay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's go ahead and kick off the conversation with where you were at the beginning of your Poshmark business, how it's evolved at the beginning of early 2020, and how have things changed for you between now and then? So Blake, historically, Poshmark has been a side hustle for you, right?
Yes, it's been a successful side hustle that at the beginning of 2020, I was really looking to go a little bit more full force with and grow into, which I was starting to do. And then I was also doing that in tandem with my full-time day job prior to everything turning amok, and everything was on the up. And then things started to change, and I was forced to lean on it a little bit more. The side hustle took a little bit more of the focus because it was something I could still do from home. I think that's one of the best things about Poshmark is that you can do it from your home with stuff in your own closet, stuff that you've got stocked up. And, I was able to lean on that, which was financially a great thing.
Sure. And Christine, you were selling on Poshmark in your free time as well, right?
Yes, I actually started off part-time, and it was something that just kind of happened when I read an article about the Deal Queen and her success. So I had a closet full of clothes, so why not? Let's do it. And it's definitely been a blessing, especially with this year. It's been very interesting with my position being laid off in July. I've been able to just kind of turn this into a positive and think, what can I do? What do I have already in my possession right now? So Poshmark has really been an absolute positive thing, and it's been growing and learning every day. So it's wonderful.
All right. So Chelsea, you started on Poshmark right before your daughter was born, about 3 years ago. Is that correct?
Yes, I started about 3 years ago with a newborn strapped to me once she was here. We would She would help me posh throughout the night. And it was amazing because now I'm able to stay at home with her and be just her care provider all the time, which is such a blessing. And it has really just given me a sense of identity because I can get lost sometimes while being a mom, I feel. So being a businesswoman / mommy is just amazing, and I'm able to provide for my family, and it's just a joy to be a part of Poshmark in this beautiful community.
Absolutely. And Laurel, you joined Poshmark when we came to Canada last year, and you were one of the early Posh ambassadors. Tell us about your journey so far.
So I started when Poshmark came to Canada and it launched here. I was so excited for Poshmark because I was already a reseller and I would just jealously look at all the Americans with Poshmark. So then when it came here, I went to the launch party and I met like Team Posh Canada, and it was so much fun. And then from there on, I posted like my first item, and I think it sold like pretty quickly for the first couple days of launching Poshmark. And then, so what happened was I started being a first Posh ambassador, and I think like the algorithm just helped me to grow really quickly. And because I was already a reseller, I got other people into it, and it's just been a blast. When the lockdown happened, I feel like it completely supported me and my family, like and my husband as well, but like I got to stay at home with my daughter and continue to work. So that was really great for me. Yeah, I love Poshmark.
That's great. And I don't know if anyone else is like me and constantly hearing Ross's voice in my head screaming, pivot, pivot. Obviously, this has been a year of pivot. So I want to talk a little bit about the challenges that we're facing. And I specifically want to ask you guys, what challenges did you overcome this year that you're most proud of? Christine, what comes to mind for you as something that you're really just so glad that you were able to overcome this year?
I think definitely for me was just the keyword pivoting and thinking, okay, how can it's a mindset. So let me turn this into a positive. Let me turn my mindset and say, hey, I am a full-time reseller. Now what can I do? What kind of people can I research, articles, blogs? What can I do to get my business where it needs to be? So just every day, just being intentional and learning as much as I can.
And Chelsea, what about you?
I would say, like Christine said, just evolving and turning this into something positive and beneficial. I think with the reselling business, there's always room for growth and change and evolution, and it's a beautiful thing. So I'm really proud that I was able to continue to provide for my family and kind of get creative and find solutions instead of just thinking about the problem aspect of it, but creating solutions to the problems.
I love that. Very well said. And Laurel, what comes to mind for you?
Well, it was very challenging at the beginning because I didn't know what was happening. And I do rely on thrift stores. But then I think the challenges that changed were that I started to rely on other people more, and it brought like a more sense of community. I know everybody was sorting their closets, so I quickly put like a little blurb out there in Vancouver saying, hey, this is how I'm supporting my family right now. If you want to donate to me while the thrift stores are closed, I'd love to take your donations. And then I like held them in a carport and sorted through them after a couple of days. And it just brought me so much passion again. And also like still people are reaching out and be like, do you still want clothes? So it kind of brought me like another niche rather than just how I was doing it before. So I've actually loved like just this new version of Poshmark for me.
That's so great. And Blake, what comes to mind for you?
Well, so a challenge for me is actually with being a part-time reseller. I, for the longest time publicly on my YouTube channel and social media, have always been very happy being part-time. But with some circumstance changes this year, I was kind of pushed into let's see if we can go full-time a little quicker than I was ready for. Just as an idea to see if I could do it, would do it. And I can comfortably say I'm very happy being a part-time reseller, and that's how it will stay. And that's okay. I think, sometimes there can be this push to like feel like you need to be a full-time reseller, and that's like just not the case. you can do really well part-time.
Very well said. I think it just proves that everybody's on their own journey and working through what's right for them. So switching gears a little bit, I've heard from so many people that now more than ever, we feel like we're being pulled in just infinite directions. So I want to chat a little bit about how you all are setting boundaries for yourself with your business in these times to maintain your posh life balance. So Chelsea, I know you mentioned you have an accountability buddy. What is that and why does it work for you?
Yes, my accountability buddy is actually Gigi, my mom. It really is amazing. We go thrifting together and we don't let each other have, death piles, as we call it, where it's just stacked up inventory waiting. So I think it's really important to kind of have a buddy within the community that holds you accountable, keeps you motivated, reminds you, hey, did you list that, girl? Like, that's money sitting, money wasted. So I think it's really beneficial. It's benefited me to have an accountability buddy and also to hold yourself accountable because, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your business and what comes from it. So as long as you're getting stuff done, everything should be good.
Well said. And Laurel, how are you setting boundaries for yourself in these times?
Yeah, so I totally was not working as a nurse at the time of lockdown for, I think, the last 6 months. So I was a full-time reseller, and I also have a 3.5-year-old without daycare. And my husband works from home, and we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. So we had to quickly adjust and figure out what worked for our family. And what we found that worked was I would take my daughter one day, and my husband would take her another day, and it just helped with my mental health. And then slowly I got to start to do the Posh and Sip and Poshing coffees virtually. And I got to meet a lot of other Poshers. And I found out that through month after month, I actually found that Poshmark was creating this benefit to my mental health. I felt like I had a purpose. I had this community. I had people that understood me. And actually I talked to other Poshers more than I do with my best friends now. One of them I talk to every single day, and we both have kids, and we've both been encouraging each other that we don't need to be perfect. We're balancing so much right now, and I think just leaning on other resellers has been a great benefit for me and my mental health right now.
So something I'm already hearing a theme in is having someone that you can relate to, that you can share stories and just be there for each other. I love that. And Blake, I know that you set work hours for yourself. What are those hours and what advice can you give to someone in setting their own work hours?
Yeah, so I'm going to tie in that I was furloughed and then officially laid off within, the span of 4 to 5 months. And within that, the first time, I did not set schedule, I did not set boundaries, and I just kind of woke up, went to bed whenever, and did anything, any time of day. Second time around, I learned that did not work for me. So getting up and, keeping the same work schedule of, getting up at 7:38, going to bed before, ideally 11 o'clock. It doesn't always happen, but I try. It's honestly been such a good thing to keep that aspect of a routine, because if you just kind of live day to day, literally with no regard to time, you can start to feel it affects you. So creating that particular boundary. And then with Posh, it's always there. I think that's one of the best perks about Poshmark. You can Posh 24/7, 24/7, 365. You can do that no matter what. So it's okay if you only want to Posh from 8 to 5. It's okay if you only want to Posh from 5 to 2 in the morning. You can do it all the time. So creating those boundaries for yourself and realizing it's always going to be there and you can go back to it whenever you want.
Always here. And Christine, I know you talk about putting on and taking off your Posh hat, which I just love. So can you share more about this routine and what it accomplishes for you?
Yes, definitely. Well, for me, it's like Blake said, having that schedule. For me, I still get up at my 5:30, 6 o'clock time, and that early morning is for me, I have my prayer meditation time to really get set in the day. And then when 8 o'clock, 8:30 comes around, and for me, it's being very physical about it. It's like, okay, I'm putting on my Posh hat. I am at work. So when I put it on and my mind clicks, this is time to, do what I need to do. Do I need to look at inventory? Do I need to look at my numbers? Do I need to share? So then once I get everything done, depending on my priorities, if I want to keep going into 8 o'clock, because I'm on a roll, then I will do it. And then once that's done, okay, I'm good for the day. Let's take off this posh hat. Let's take off this work hat. Now it's time for just home time. So that's what that looks like.
I love that. Anything else anyone wants to add about setting boundaries and why that's important? Blake, go for it.
I think creating the boundary is very important because something with reselling, the pro of being available to do something at any time of day, 24/7, 365, is you kind of sometimes get that rush to like keep doing more and more and more. Because maybe you see some financial benefit from that, and that's okay. But burnout can happen, and it is very real. And I've definitely learned that over the past year and a half. So making sure that you're giving yourself time to do something other than reselling, other than selling on Poshmark. It's okay to go out for a walk. And in fact, I highly recommend you do that. Clear the air, get some natural air that's hopefully wildfire free.
Yeah, such a good segue into the next thing I want to talk about. Now that you've got some ways that you're setting boundaries for yourself, it makes time for you to take better care of yourself, like you said, Blake. So I want to talk a little bit about the ways you guys are incorporating self-care into your routine daily. So Laurel, you mentioned that Poshmark has brought you a lot of mental health balance. How is that? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so kind of as I spoke earlier, I feel like it's brought me a new circle of people. I never really told anybody I was a reseller before. I was actually kind of embarrassed about it for probably way too long. And then now I feel like it's something is part of my identity, part of who I am. I found this new calling to help change the world in secondhand. And personally, the people that I've met have been so encouraging. During the lockdown, I actually wasn't working as a nurse, partly not by choice. There was no patients on my unit. And even Team Posh reached out to me and were like, do you want some soup? And then a couple other Poshers, they were like, do you need anything? And then I found out other friends were laid off and I would help in return. And then Posh and Coffee started, and we've just we don't even necessarily need a Posh and Coffee now to have a little Zoom meeting or to chat via FaceTime or whatever. And I've just loved the community of Poshmark. And I think it's just incredible, all these people coming together, and especially during such a hard time where you have to kind of rely on Posh, which is amazing that we can do that and we have that option. And now it's we can band together as, oh yeah, we're all trying to make this work as a full-time job, even though we were not used to it. So I've loved just relying on other people, and it's definitely helped my mental health and just to separate being a mom and reselling. And it's okay, I'm not just a mom. I can also have this other identity that creates so much benefit for my family.
Absolutely. And Christine, I know that self-care is such a priority for you that you actually put it on the calendar. And I think you mentioned that you wake up at 5:30 every day. Talk to us about that.
That's just wake up early. I'm an early bird. I love getting up early to just have that quiet, still time, even to look at the sunrise when it comes up. It's just very peaceful, and it allows me to just kind of, be thankful for another day and to then get centered. Okay, Christine, what do you want to tackle today? What are your priorities? Let's get it done. It's also a hype moment, but also self-care and just throughout the day, just getting outside, like said, like's already been said, exercising. That's a huge thing for me. I try to exercise at least 4 times a week. And if I miss a day, I have to double up. So that definitely helps in mental health. And because Posh, you can sit down for hours and then before you know it, it is 8 o'clock. For me, it's being intentional. Okay, Christine, back away a little bit, get outside, walk, clear your brain. And when you come back, okay, now jump back into it. So that's how I do it.
And Chelsea, something you said in an earlier conversation really resonated with me. You mentioned how you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's so true. So tell us about your self-care rituals.
It's ever growing and it's going to change soon. I'm about to have another little newborn, so I'm going to have to come up with new ways for self-care. But it's so important because, you know, you're your most important person right now. You have to make sure you're good in order for everything else, all your ducks to be in a row and everything to be balanced. So I really just try to remember my reason why I'm poshing or working or doing anything, which is, to provide for my family. And so I appreciate baths. Warm baths are nice. If it's a quick little drive and singing some Stevie Nicks, whatever I got to do, just let it all out. So I think that just not feeling guilty for needing some time for yourself is really important, because self-care, mental health, all of that is crucial. And not only day-to-day life, but if you want to have a successful business, you have to make sure that, you're good. So I really try to not feel guilty anymore, and just, if I need a minute, just take that minute, breathe, regroup, and it helps gain some energy back and some soul cleansing. I'm like, sometimes I just need a moment.
Yeah, always so needed. And Blake, I know that you've admitted that taking care of yourself is a work in progress, which I feel like so many people can relate to and is totally normal and okay. So tell us about your journey in finding time to care for yourself.
So self-care, I really love that that's like kind of like a movement that's happening, and people are taking time, whether it's a warm bath or, going for a hike, a walk, whatever it is, buying yourself something nice, whatever your version of self-care is. I have yet to kind of like establish that for myself. And I think it's, something that I've experienced during this period of time is that I've felt very, I'm not going to say alone, but I felt lonely. I think it's really nice when you can allow yourself and have the privilege to have like alone time per se. So I want to be clear when I say I've been feeling lonely, because I've had no like real interaction with friends. My family is on the opposite coast. There's been no traveling. People are of a certain age. I'm not trying to put anyone at risk. So trying to figure out what works for me literally changes on a daily basis. But I do have a prop, if I can bring it out. It is something that I was like, you know what? I saw flowers and I'm going to buy myself some flowers. Okay. So cheesy, call it what you want. But for me, I saw them and I was like, oh my God, like, why not buy myself flowers? I've never done it. And it brightens up. It goes perfect with my wall. Why not do that for yourself? And allowing yourself to have those little moments, or spend $10, $15 on some flowers for yourself. Just do it. Just do it.
I love that for you. I do the same thing, but with plants. So I think anybody who is maybe starting on their journey to self-care, are there any tips or advice you can share with them? I love how authentic you guys are being. Like, it is a work in progress. We're all kind of on our own journey here. Chelsea, anything to add there?
I agree. I mean, every self-care routine is going to look different, so and brings you joy, and just try to take more time to do things that, like I said, make you happy, because it's really important.
Well said. So I know many people tuning in right now might be struggling with unexpected curveballs. What advice can you share with someone on how to turn a challenge into an opportunity? Christine, I know you kind of advise taking a step back. How can one do that, and what does that accomplish?
For a tip would be, like you said, take a step back and look at the whole picture of your business. And this will allow you to see, what are your wins? What have been some great successes? But also it will allow you to see what areas need a little bit of TLC. And then the opportunity in this is to not only celebrate those wins, but to then come up with a plan to address those areas that need a little extra help. And this will not only, allow you to move forward, positively in your business, but allow it to not only, survive, but to thrive in this industry. So take a step back and look at the whole picture.
I like that. And Blake, I know that you mentioned thinking outside of the box. How is that successful for you?
Yeah, so I like to think of myself as a creative thinker, but sometimes you can, especially when something's working, you might not always be thinking of that next way to kind of innovate your thought process. And I think it's important to, think, how could I do this differently? Like, it's working, maybe it's slowed down, but what's a different way I could approach something? Or, let me ask a friend, here's what I've been doing, here's why it was working, it's not anymore, help me. So I think just, giving yourself, not being hard on yourself is important, but giving yourself the opportunity to come up with a new solution, like Christine said, to innovate for yourself. Because, reselling can be repetitive in by nature of what you're doing. So thinking of new ways to spice it up or to change it up can really benefit you ultimately. So
absolutely. And Chelsea, I know you like to tell people to fall back on some research, and why is that?
I think it's just really important to realize that there's always something to be learned within this business and community. I really like to take advantage of all the free resources, whether it be, YouTube or Instagram or blogs. I actually started the group Posh Moms as well, so we kind of help each other, let each other know what's trending or what sold for us that week. So just knowledge is power. So if you want your business to continue to grow, I think it's really important to take advantage of all of the sources out there.
Absolutely. And I think something you mentioned with your Facebook group for Posh Moms, I think it's really important to turn to the people around you who are in the same boat. We've already talked about this, I think, a couple times today, how having people who just get what you're doing, what it's about, can be so beneficial. And the awesome thing about the Poshmark community is that everyone's there for each other. So I think, Laurel, I wanted to talk a little bit about some advice you shared around just keep going, but take some breaks if you need. So talk to us about what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so I personally love to make goals weekly and monthly, and I share them as well. So I definitely make new goals for myself every week. I don't always share those ones, but the monthly ones, just to change it. It could be anything. It could be from like how much money I want to make that month. It could be how many things I want to list. It could be how many things I want to sell. It could be just amping up my game a little bit and a little bit more. So I definitely set those goals, and I actually don't always intend to meet them, but surprisingly, I've met all of my goals. I sometimes cannot believe it. And I think it just pushes me that little bit more to make a sale or to share to somebody else who I thought would like something that's similar to what they had and make a bundle deal. And then also when I've made that goal, I kind of step back and I kind of sit and go, okay, good job. Now what's next? And then I just kind of calm down for the rest of that period, whether it be the week, spend time with my family. I try to take those breaks. I try to spend time with my daughter, spend the day, whatever that might be. So have a goal, try to meet it the best you can, but also don't compare yourself to others, because then that's just setting you up for failure, because your business is way different than everybody else's.
That's such great advice, honestly, from all of you guys. Thank you so much for all of the amazing insights that you were able to share with us, being vulnerable. Everyone tuning in right now has a different reason for showing up today. And I think as we move through the rest of the PoshFest weekend, we can take some of the great advice shared here today. Remember your why and make sure that you're not comparing your business to someone else's, because you're on your own path here. And knowing that we are all stronger together. So thank you so much. I want to give Blake, Chelsea, Christine, and Laurel a huge round of applause for sharing your guys' thoughts today. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you guys connect with them on Poshmark. Say hello. They're there if you want to keep chatting. They all have so much more that they can share. But thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts today, and happy PoshFesting.
So love seeing and learning how everyone is turning all of their challenges into opportunities, coming together, creating space and boundaries, and knowing that you are your most important person. I absolutely loved hearing that. And also, like Blake said, buy yourself the flowers.
Yes, or if you're like me, maybe a new houseplant, right? I know these Poshers gave me so much inspiration for my own life, and I'm super grateful for their insights.
Definitely. And before we get into the next session, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. So grab a beverage, do some stretches, or, tag us on IG using the hashtag PoshFest 2020.
And if you're hanging around, we've got some fun videos to learn more about Posh and coffee and a clip from our sponsor, Dymo. We'll see you in 10.
See you then. All right, welcome back. Let's get right into the next session. Whether you are full-time or part-time, every Posher has a spot at home for all of their Poshmark stuff. So let's be honest, it's not always as tidy or organized as we want it. Am I right?
Yes, I'm so guilty, I've got to be honest, but we're so in luck. Our next session is all about tidying transformations, organizational tools, and productivity tips.
I think we all need a little bit of that, especially we're at home more these days. So for this very special session, we have Caitlin Roberts, who is a master KonMari consultant, who is here to dive deeper into the KonMari method and how to work from home with joy.
Yep. Leave a comment if you're familiar with Marie Kondo and the wildly popular KonMari method. And to chat with her, please welcome my colleague, friend, and fellow Posh mom, the infamous Kate F. Kate Franco.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kate Franco, and I am here with Caitlin Roberts to talk about creating spaces that spark joy. Now, I know several people at Poshmark who have KonMari'd their spaces several times over. I have never attempted this myself. So, Caitlin, I am so excited about this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us in this fireside chat.
Thank you for having me.
So, to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how exactly did you become a master KonMari consultant?
Yeah, so just like so many other people, I read Marie's first book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and I was completely inspired. And I attended one of her first training courses. It was in San Francisco back in 2016. And once you go home, you just start working with people with the method. And so over the years, I worked really steadily. Everyone needs a little bit of help in their home. And after I had taught over 500 lessons, I reached that status of Master KonMari Consultant. And in that time, I launched my own consulting service called Minimize with Purpose. This was back in Los Angeles, but now I actually live in Portland, Oregon. And, this is a service that pretty much everyone could use. And I actually host these online virtual tidy parties. So it's really something that I can do from my home and reach an international audience.
Amazing. So you're very used to this virtual kind of conversation.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful that so many more people are used to this kind of format now.
Yeah. Okay. So can you share a little bit about the method in a nutshell? How would you describe it for the Poshmark community?
Yeah, so this is really, the KonMari method is a philosophy, and it's about choosing joy, and really tidying is just the tool to get you closer to your ideal lifestyle. So it's really about just how you want to live.
Wow. Okay. And what do you think makes this philosophy so powerful? Why have so many people gravitated towards this?
I think that a lot of people haven't really accepted an invitation like this before, an invitation to just be yourself, to trust what it is that you really want, what your instincts are telling you. So I think the fact that this is really a personal journey of self-discovery is what makes this really powerful.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I this is like right up my alley. Trust yourself, go with your gut, rely on your intuition and instincts. I really need to get on this. Okay. Well, so I think that the KonMari method makes so much sense for Poshmark sellers. I mean, in terms of just looking at our own personal closets, if something is not bringing you joy, then let it spark joy for someone else on Poshmark. But I want to dig a little bit deeper today into this philosophy and kind of how our Poshmark sellers can deeply benefit from this philosophy or from this method. One of the things about being a Posher is that you have the flexibility to work from anywhere. And like we just discussed, so many people right now are working from home. That flexibility is great, but it does come with its challenges. So what are some of the ways that we can create a space that sparks joy when we've got a blended work and living space, when our physical space is blended?
Yes. So I have some experience with this, and I think The most important thing is really just defining that space. Not everyone is going to have a room or an office to go to. So even if it's just a corner, just define that this is where you work and keep it as tidy as possible. If there's any countertops, keep those, as clear as possible, keep things up off the floor. And I love to suggest just developing a habit to really bring your senses into the workspace. So think about, at the end of the workday, how do you shift back into this is your personal space? So maybe you burn a candle or diffuse your favorite scent, play your favorite song, whatever it is, to really say, okay, I'm now back into my life.
I love this. And I feel like it's so, there are so many different ways you can incorporate it. So I have a coworker at Poshmark who does something so similar to this. So she actually has her office chair from our HQ office. She has that office chair in her apartment. And at the beginning of her workday, she wheels in the office chair into her bedroom to start work. And at the end of the workday, she wheels it out. And that's how she knows that the workday is over.
That is so perfect. That is just a perfect example.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about productivity. I know that you have a lot of tips for our community in this area. And research shows that a tidy space can really boost your productivity. Clearing clutter can increase your ability to focus and process information. So what are some of your favorite organizational tools that you could share with our community?
Yeah, so I do think that this method is perfect for, working at home and really having your inventory there. So with the KonMari method, we like to optimize vertical space. So as much as possible, standing everything up and using a stacking method. But also, your products are your service, right? This is what is important to you. So we really want to show gratitude to our items. So how you store it should not be too squished. So thinking about if you're folding items or hanging, clothing materials, you only want to use about 90% of that space. Really give everything some room to breathe. And this is a really nice way to be showing gratitude. And then, after a while, look around and think about what isn't bringing you joy in that space. Looking at your inventory, is there an item that every time you see it, you remember this just hasn't sold. I really just want to get it out. Then potentially it's actually time to say goodbye to that item and just say thank you next.
I think that's such a sage piece of advice. Like if it's not bringing you joy, be okay with letting it go. I think especially for the resellers out there who are accumulating inventory over time, or for people who are not just selling stuff from their own closets, but getting inventory from outside sources. I think this is a really important principle. What about organizational tools based on your physical space? So if we're talking about like a desk, maybe I have a desk in the corner of my bedroom, which is very true, which is the actual setup that I have right now, even though you guys can't see it. What are some of your tips around physical space?
Yeah. So in regards to physical space, I think the first thing you should consider is what kind of storage system you're using for your papers, because we all get overwhelmed with so many papers, especially when you are running your own small business. So whatever that system is, ideally it is something really simple and vertical. We like to keep only 3 categories. So things that you need to take action on right away, items that you keep just temporarily, maybe like a year, and then items that you would need to keep for forever. So keeping a really simple system will help paperwork not get too overwhelming for you. And then, considering that you have merchandise coming in and out, you probably want to be labeling things so you know exactly how to find an item in your system. And I think you don't want to over-label or commit too much to a really nice label. So just having masking tape and a Sharpie would be the perfect, not that fancy, but usable and changeable labeling system. And then, just make it really easy to stay on top of your system by assigning everything a home. And the reason why this is important is because otherwise you might end up with like 30 things of masking tape or Sharpies or scissors in every corner of your home and workspace.
I'm confident that I have at least a dozen pairs of scissors in my house. So I hope I'm not alone in that. Sounds like I'm not alone.
You are not alone. I think I find scissors everywhere in everyone's home.
There's just something about it. So I think that's great. So the simpler the system is, right, the easier it is to maintain and the easier it is to stay on top of it. Any other productivity tips that you want to share with the Poshmark community?
Yeah, let's think about productivity in just your day. Actually, I have a fun example. So this is a time timer, and it is a way to have self-imposed deadlines, and it's just sort of fun. So what I do is I'll put on, 30 minutes, and then I know that when this goes off, it's time to move on to the next task. So it's actually a really great tool to use for productivity, and it's cute. But otherwise, I think you should just really honor yourself. What do you want in your day? Schedule breaks for a walk outside or to dance to your favorite song, eat lunch, the basics. And the things we forget to do, right?
Yeah.
And then I love to wake up and have a plan and just know what I need to get done for the day. So I'll always take, my timer's going off. But I'll always take 1 minute at night and just write down what are the 3 things that I need to do in the next work day so that I wake up, I know what to focus on. And if I get those 3 things done, then I can go and do whatever else needs to happen. But at least I know I have accomplished exactly what I need to do that day. And I highly suggest that system.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I like the idea of doing it before bed too, so that when you wake up in the morning, you're already ready to go. I've been trying to do something similar, which is if I find myself getting overwhelmed throughout the course of the day, I take a minute to pause and just think about, okay, what is the thing that I can do right now that is going to be the most useful in this moment? How can I be the most productive in this moment? And so I feel like coming up with the 3 daily priorities could really be very complementary to that.
Yeah. And look, anytime you're feeling like that, I think a brain dump just is the most powerful thing. Just get everything out of your head so that you can move on to that priority.
Great. This is very related to the next topic I wanted to discuss, so I'm glad you brought it up. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about is that it's not just about our physical space. It's about that digital and mental clutter too, and to that feeling of being overwhelmed. How can we apply the KonMari method to our phones, our laptops, or even our minds?
Yeah, it's a really good question because it is something that we really need to be paying attention to right now. So remember those 3 systems for papers? You can definitely apply that to digital. You can have just 3 folders, things that you're taking action on. This could be like on your desktop or in your email, items that you're working on over the next year, and just those things like taxes that you need to keep for forever. If you can keep just a really basic folder system and then the files themselves have a really consistent naming system, you can trust that you'll know exactly how to find your items. It really simplifies everything. But also you want to make sure that you're not defaulting in just saving everything. Like really be intentional about what you actually keep as a digital copy. And I think that we should have like an annual check-in, almost like doing your taxes, where you just quickly review those items, make it fun, do it with a friend, and delete out what you're not going to need going into the next year to keep this digital profile of yours, as pulled together as possible. And then just mentally, I would say that before I would over calendar my life. like crazy before I applied this method to my life. And I think now we just, not just your calendar, but even what you're engaging with on social media, just really thinking about what it is that brings you joy and what you're inviting into your life, and just making sure that it really does connect to that original visioning of your ideal lifestyle. You know, it's hard and it's a good practice to learn to say, no, this actually doesn't fit into my life, because you can always add more later, but just start with the basics of what is important to me and what does bring me joy.
I feel like this is a little bit about also creating space. Like we talk about over calendaring, right? This is another way to create space on your calendar, so that you're not over scheduled, and don't be afraid to say no to the things that aren't bringing you joy.
Exactly.
Great. Well, we have a little bit of time, I think, and I would love to ask you a few rapid fire questions if you're up for it. What do you think?
Of course.
Okay, great. Okay, so what is your favorite rule of tidying up?
Oh, definitely to store all like items in one place.
Okay, that was very emphatic. So I know that it's for sure your favorite. What is the one organizational tool that you can't live without?
Repurposing jars and boxes.
Okay, also very relevant for our Poshmark community. And then my last question: what is one thing about your own workspace that brings you joy?
Ooh, I only keep my absolute favorite pens at my desk.
And what is your favorite pen, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, it's nothing fancy. It's just this, I don't have one here, but this one simple pen. I don't even know the name of it, but I have a pack, and that's the only one I use.
Caitlin, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for joining us in this chat. Really appreciate you and your expertise, and it's been great getting to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate and Caitlin, for an inspiring and motivational conversation. It was a great way to close out this portion of the day.
It sure was. I was taking notes the entire time. I see a lot of opportunity for my home situation to spark so much more joy than it already does.
Yes, and those sessions this morning were such a great way to kick off the PoshFest weekend. And it may be a wrap for the YouTube broadcast, but we have a whole lot more in our breakouts for our ticket holders coming right up. Are we ready?
Yeah. So ready. Can't wait for all the breakouts. But for everyone who tuned in here on YouTube for this morning, we just wanted to thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow morning for some super amazing sessions. Dare I mention the greatest of all time, Serena Williams will be here. We will have our annual hackathon and so much more.
That's right. We'll be kicking things off at 8 a.m. Pacific / 11 a.m. Eastern, and we'll see you then.
See you then. Bye.